Hello and welcome back to the Damon Rowan podcast. I'm Damon Rowan, and this week I'm joined by a special guest, Oisin Mulligan from Mulligainz Fitness. You may have heard of him before, and we'll get the podcast rolling and see how we do from here. So, first guest, and very excited. So
I'm very happy to be here. It's nice to be around someone that has like the similar mindset or something, trying to do something with you, so you can kind of bounce ideas off each other, even through a podcast like we're going to talk. So I'm excited to be here. Haven't seen you in ages.
I haven't seen you in ages, man. So it's good to get you around and just see what comes out today. Try to hopefully provide a bit of value, a bit of insight into just coaching, bit of fitness, bit of nutrition. Just have a few topics written down here anyway. We're going to plow through them, but it's just so start out. Just tell me a bit about yourself, Oisin, or tell the audience about yourself and
right.
your story. And
this is always the hardest question that you get asked. All right, I'm 22. I'm from Athlone. I just recently started up my fitness business, or Mulligainz Fitness is what it's called. I finished sports science in AIT, sports science with exercise physiology. I started that in 2016, I think. I finished it there this year. And then after I came out of college, the whole COVID thing kind of hit in, and I was kind of like, I better set up something myself. So I went up trying to start up that side of stuff myself. But through the whole process, I was like, from when I was younger, I was overweight and stuff. So that's where my passion in the industry kind of came from. Like before,
your story is amazing.
I never played any sports or nothing in school. Like it was, would have been 5th year or 6th year in school. Then I started getting into the gym. My brother kind of started bringing me, and you would have known anyway, because I was overweight at that point. We were always chatting about it. You're like, oh, how was the gym today and stuff. Like that was, that was almost a motivating factor as well. Like that was coming into school. But I was about 130 kilos in, I'd say 5th year, maybe just before that, and then I've since lost a lot of weight, cut down to about 70 kilos. And then I kind of went to the opposite end of the scale after that, getting so obsessed with my weight as well. I was like, I have to lose weight, and I think I ended up trying to go down towards 67, almost looking anorexic in some of the pictures where I was like, and you can see the way I was looking at myself in the mirror. I was like, I hate this person who I am. And now, like, through the years of kind of learning through that, I just want to help other people. I just want to help other people that are suffering through the same problems, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's it. Like, looking back on it, say, like, would you seen that person that you were 5 years ago and just imagine you're here today and doing what you're doing? Like,
I wish I could go back and, like, because I remember, like, going to the gym, like, I'm never going to change and stuff like that. I wish I could go back and say, look, everything's going to be all right. And I hope I can do that for other people as well. Just say, look, everything's going to be all right. You messed up today. You ate your pizza, or you had this. But that's fine. That's part of life. You'll be fine. Just keep going.
That kind of like strikes into a lot of our why, I'd say, as a coach, but it goes into like finding the balance. And, you know, as you say yourself, you know, you went from one end of the spectrum to the other, in that you're overweight, and then you wanted to lose all the weight, and you probably had to just kind of visualizing that you didn't want to be that person anymore, so you went to the other end of the spectrum, and then you kind of found a bit of difficulty in that. But it's kind of that struggle that a lot of people go through, in that, you know, they're perceiving themselves a certain way, and then they want to obviously, you know, improve upon that, and they can get unhealthy, and it's all about finding the balance, and that really comes with time and perspective, like that, to apply that. Like, so I'm always saying a bit on that, like, it's just how you find that journey.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, people start the gym because they're unhappy with the way their body is. Most people, that's why they want to start the gym or want to come to a coach, is because they're unhappy with their body is. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's like motivating you to improve, that kind of way.
Absolutely.
But it is a bad thing then at the same time when it becomes obsessive, and like you're trying to do everything you can to lose weight that's not even there. So it's like changing. I don't know. It's a real hard one. You know, as a coach, that's probably one of the most difficult problems to solve, is the mentality of the other person.
Oh, absolutely.
Try to have that side of it. Like,
I find people's mindset can get in the way of them, and like that's true to me, true to yourself. Like it's everywhere. It's common human condition nearly. Yeah. It's just like we're trying to find exactly what's the best path to do and how to pursue it, and that kind of obviously feeds into coaching, and that we're gonna, like, we aim to help people in like achieving those goals, but also keep them level headed, and, you know, appreciate the process, because a lot of people can go so far and they're like, you've come this far, fair play to you, and then like they're still not happy and they're still not fulfilled. So like they can, you know, you can have everything seeming from the outside going right, but if you don't have it in there, in the head rolling around, then you're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna even appreciate the process.
Yeah. I just say at this point now, like, because before it would have been, it was literally body dysmorphia is what it would be classed as, is the way I was. I was never happy with my body and stuff like that. But like at this point, it's like, we're all going to get old and get fat at the end of the day. Like, so why am I stressing about my body now? Like,
absolutely.
When I'm 80 years old, like, I'm going to be like that. So it's just about more so making it more about health. And if I want to improve my body in certain ways, that's perfectly fine as well, but not obsessing over it and that kind of way.
Absolutely.
So like focusing on health and stuff is definitely a big change that's come. Like, and mental health is definitely massive thing within coaching, even within the fitness industry. Like it's huge. And that's what should be more of a focus on, is the mental side of things. Like there's a lot of into why people put on weight. I look into that a lot, and it's like there's so much behind just eating the foods. It's like the mental side of why is that person going over to the press and going eating the bag crisps, or maybe they're feeling bad about the way work went today and they're stressed about all that stuff. But then there's also the other side of like, because they didn't eat anything all day. That's one side of it. Then there's another side of it. There's also mental struggles and people that will drive them towards certain foods. So that's a big side that has to be looked at within coaching. So all kind of way.
Yeah, and that's probably not emphasised as much in, like, you know, people are going into coaching in, you know, expecting obviously a certain amount from the coach to do the work for you, but it comes back to the person in that, you know, you have to put in the work yourself, and it's really about like trying to make that process easier and enjoyable for the person. Like it has to be fulfilling and enjoyable. You can't just, you know, here you can get this weight or you can achieve this certain body, but
and that's the way a lot of coaches go. Like that wrecks my head. Like when I see that, it's like they'll put their client on 1,200 calories, and it's like, okay, you're on 1,200 calories now. You're gonna lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks, and then I'm gonna post this picture on my Instagram of your belly this size, and it's gonna make me better. But when you're finished this program, you're a goose. Like exactly. You know nothing. You know nothing. Exactly.
The skill set or the tools to actually keep the results. Exactly. Like that person saying, you know, taking that.
They're gonna put it straight back on, and 90% of that is gonna be like glycogen stores going down, stuff like that. So that's nothing got to do with losing fat. They're not doing it in a sustainable way. And coaches wrecks my head when I see stuff like that.
Exactly. They're kind of like, they see like you buy an 8-week program or something, and they kind of they see that end, the 7th or 8th week is kind of like their quote unquote peak week, where they're kind of setting that person up. They're like, okay, you're gonna, like, you know, you're down your water intake for this, and get that progress picture, and then after that, good luck to you. And see, like, I think that's probably just in the fitness industry in general, is it's quite can be toxic like that, in that, you know, it's a relatively young industry, the fitness industry, and there's still a lot of quirks to fix out in it and roll out and kind of improve it. But I think that's what we were saying in that we were touching on before we said the podcast, is like helping people find the balance and actually, you know, develop a skill set and an understanding of how calories work, how training works, how they all feed, you know, your sleep.
Keeping it simple, like keep it simple as possible. That's what I said to everyone that comes to me. Keep it as simple as possible. If we can get your calories right first, okay, we'll set you up on what calories you want to be on. So if you want to gain weight, we'll set you up in surplus, and if you want to lose weight, then we'll set you up in a deficit, and understanding like where these calories come from and stuff like that. And then second, okay, we'll focus on protein, or as second, we'll focus on your training or exercise or daily steps or something like that. Just keep it as simple as possible so people can understand it, rather than just handing a piece of paper. It's like, okay, here's 1,200 calories, go eat this for them weeks, I'll put this picture up. But even when it comes to transformation pictures, like after I put up the transformations on my page, that's how they get so much exposure. And when they get that exposure after putting up a transformation picture of someone, no wonder they keep trying to get them back and just get any way they can, like get a transformation any way they can, like put someone on really, really low calories so they lose a lot of weight, which in a non-healthy way, just to get that exposure for themselves. So it's like, it's not even trying to help people out then, it's trying to help themselves out, trying to help their own bank accounts out.
It's like, exactly, bank accounts. It's more about the money than it is the actual, the craft itself in coaching, and actually helping people, you know, improve their lifestyles and keep it that way, you know. Because it is a lot of building process, and you were saying, you know, as you know, first understand the calories, and then we can go and move on to maybe, you know, your protein intake, and taking it one step at a time. And, you know, you're finding that if people, I was touching on this actually on a Q&A I was doing the other day on Instagram, it was someone saying that they had struggled to keep motivated, and it's really like motivation gets you started, but it's habits and drive that keeps you going, in that you're, you know, once you have the things in place that it's like, if you're taking on too much, like say some people will be like, okay, I want to lose weight and I want to look great, that's a great goal, but not having, you know, like the know-how behind that and the ability. So you kind of want to match, you know, your challenge in like what you're undertaking as your goal with your ability. But if you take on, like, say, too much of a challenge and you don't have the ability to match up to it, like, you know, it's easy giving someone like a training plan 6 days a week to go do this. But if they don't have the ability to match that, they're going to get overwhelmed and they're not going to be able to likely keep that up or follow through with it.
I think that's a question we get a lot, is like, how do you stay motivated? I don't. There's days in that gym where I literally don't want to be there, but it's just almost a habit. And like, I think it's not even motivation for me. It's like, I go to the gym and I get a sweat on, or I do my workout, and it's almost like I've ticked something off for the day. It's like, okay, if I did nothing else for the day, I did that. And it's like, that's perfect. And that's like the dopamine then kicks in, and that's like the main thing. That's driver. That's why I love running now. It's like I go for a run and I come back, like dopamine is on. Yeah, exactly. I workout high like every time, and that's it.
It feels like you're superhuman after finishing it, like, and it does feel so good.
Gives you a different sense and confidence. Like I wouldn't be the most confident person ever, but if I came back from a run, I'd have no problem talking to anyone.
Exactly. You have your whole like nervous system tuned to like how you want it, because you've given it that, like, put that in, and it nearly, as you're saying, like, on days you don't feel like it, there's going to be more days that you don't feel like it than you do feel
guarantee
like it.
Guarantee, exactly.
There's going to be, but like the days that you do push, I find it nearly more rewarding on the days that I'm like, F this, I don't want to go like do my workout today. But if I do it, and then it's more rewarding than the days I do want to do them, because I'm like, wow, I push myself, and I
go in and do something. And just because you go in and start work doesn't mean it have to be the best workout you've ever done in your life. Even if you go in and you're like, half to work, this is pure crap, if you just finish off the reps and just do it, like, that's fine. I think, like, yeah, you're going to have more days that you don't want to be there than when you do want to be there, kind of way. So if you just keep pushing through it. And that sounds so stupid to people that aren't into the gym, but it's just getting in that habit of going, or finding a sport that you do like doing. Like, there's loads of different sports out there you can try. Golf, I'm shy at golf. Yeah,
I definitely get what you mean. Like, it's doing it when you don't want to do it, and you probably relate to this to me. Like fitness, it comes easier to us right now, but that's our kind of interest. Like, another thing is, like, study. I was never one to be like, stuck in the books. It was kind of a forced thing. Like, of course, until I found fitness, I became like it became a lot more easy to find what you want to do.
I don't even know if it is easier for us, because imagine you have something that you really like, okay, and then it's surrounded by you like 24/7. Eventually that's going to be really, really hard for you to go train. Like, you are coaching people throughout the day or stuff like that. If you're like constantly on your phone, or constantly on your phone communicating through gym stuff, like sending your programs, writing up programs, doing programs, at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for you to go to the gym then and do it yourself. Like, that's a hard part for coaches. Well, people don't see that side of it. It's like, you could be coaching all day, and it's really hard to get your own training in.
Oh yeah,
it's like being in that environment all the time is so tiring. It's like really, really hard to keep up your own side of training. That's a difficult part about coaching that I didn't see before.
No, I definitely agree with that, because you have to bring a certain energy to coaching, because you are, the person is there to do, like, to progress in what they're doing towards their goals, and you have to, like, supply the blueprint and the, like, outline, and you have to keep them, ensure they're doing it right, of course, but you're keeping them, going, you're keeping the fuel, like, fuel to the fire, in that you're keeping them up, and then it comes to you doing it, and then it's like, geez, I've been doing that
I'm
all
tired
day,
now.
So. Yeah, exactly. Like,
I can't be bothered doing it. I'd rather go sit at home on the couch, but like, just getting it done, kind of like, I'll still go in. Like, there's times I do be going into the gym at like 9 or 10, and I'll get my workout in if I have to. I'll do from 10 till 12. If I have to work out at that time, I will. I'll just take a bit of pre-workout and I'll be flying.
Exactly, yeah. No, I'll get the kick behind you. And that actually touches into another point I wanted to say into the importance of fitness in people's lives, like, in why it is important to, like, because obviously from what, like, it is such an important part of people's lives, like, as we were even saying about, like, the runner's high and all that, like, we do it because it feels good, and it's an important part of people's lives to keep in a certain amount of shape. You don't have to be in, like, Joe six-pack or something, like, or having, like, the perfect body or anything.
I'll tell you something. I had a six-pack for 8 weeks of summer in 2017. I love the look of myself, but I hated every single point of trying to keep that six-pack, because it's most of it genetics. Some people are actually born with very, very good ab genetics, and like being able to keep them throughout having higher body fat percentages. When it took me a lot to try get abs, and I was literally killing myself eating little food, and I'd never go back there again. I'm happy with my little belly now that I have.
Exactly.
But just staying fit is different than that. Like, people understand that, like, there's health and then there's like physique kind of looking. That's not health. A lot of the time them people aren't healthy at all. Like, the way they're eating, like, that's crazy. Or the stuff that they're taking, 90% of them are taking. If you think someone's on steroids, chances are they are on steroids. That's the way I see it.
Like, there's a lot of fake nallies and all that on Instagram especially, but I like what you're saying there, in that, like, that really comes with perspective though, like, because as you were saying, somewhere 2017 when you had your six-pack, and that would
seems like so long ago now.
But like, exactly, you have your perspective now, and you have a much more evolved, like, understanding of it. But back then, like,
it was like all I wanted. I had that written on a whiteboard in my room or in a copy in my room for ages. Like, first goal, get a six-pack, and now when I got him, like, all right, this is cool, but like,
I was the same, like, and no, but that exactly, and people starting into fitness who are listening to this, like, that's probably one of your goals right now, get a six pack or something like that, and
it's horrible.
It's that's all well and good, like, and you know, it's a good goal to have, like, fair play for pushing towards it and all that, but like, just kind of as you've evolved perspective over time, like, you're going to realize once you have it, it's not the most important thing that you're doing your fitness for.
Yeah, no, definitely, and just keeping it sustainable and consistent for people is the main thing. Like, staying healthy, that's a big focus for people, is staying healthy and just keep training away. Have certain goals, yes, but I would keep them away from weight related goals and stuff like that. I'd keep it more I don't know.
I get you. Like, it's not like it's, you know, it's great to have specific goals, like I want a six pack, or I want to lose 10 kilos, or I want to put on 10 kilos of muscle, or like, you know, something like that is like, yeah, no, that's fair enough, that's a good goal, but like, overall, see the bigger picture in where your fitness is playing into it. Like, because I find, even like I'm finding nowadays, like, I know I have a wrist injury at the moment from mountain biking, but like, even just keeping general fitness keeps you available to do things like mountain biking for me, but like, it allows you, it's keeping your body ready to do stuff.
It's a long term thing. Like, people see it as a short term thing. Oh, I want to get that six pack. Will you be able to get me 6 pack in 3 months? Most definitely not. It's like, see it as a more long term thing. Like, it's, you want to be able to do fitness and stuff for the rest of your life. My mom's, jeez, I don't know what age my mom is. I won't say what age she is, but she's flying it, and that's, I see her every day. She goes out and runs. She goes to the gym the whole time, and like, she's probably the strongest woman that I know, and she's out there, I don't know, all the time. And just seeing her, I'm like, I can't wait till I'm like that. And just keeping it sustainable and consistent throughout your life. If you can get to her age, then and still keep it up, like,
absolutely, no,
live as long as you can.
It keeps life
exactly
like, good and interesting, like, because, you know, you see people that don't take care of themselves in that regard, in terms of fitness and that. And it weighs down your body, and you know, we're like, even now we're talking about, like, we're only 22, and we're talking about our wrist pain and joint pain, our shoulders.
That's just from me being stupid.
Yeah, but like that, it's like, it's, you know, your body doesn't keep together well unless you put in the effort for it to do those things. So like, that's why we're obviously trying to do that and maintain that with clients.
But even with the body, then links into the mind. Like, there's highest suicide rates there's ever been.
Exactly.
Ever been for especially with COVID and everything. Like, and that's the whole fitness side of things. Alright, it's good for your body as well, but like, for your mind, if that made a huge difference for me over lockdown, being able to take part in fitness classes and stuff. So like, Fusion out in Monksland, they were doing fitness classes online. I was getting involved in them. I was going out running a lot. We actually did the challenge then, me, Louis, and David Atterbury. Yeah, we did that 4 kilometers every 4 hours. 4 hours for 48 hours. But that, like, people would be like, that's crazy. But that was like so good for my mental health to be able to say, look, I set that challenge and I went and did it. Absolutely. And then on top of that, the whole charity side of it then as well was even bigger boost. It was like, thank God that we did something like that. But just being able to link your health and fitness to the mental health side of things is massive. And I think that's a big thing that needs to start, like, coming in more. Is like, use fitness as a tool to boost your mental health. Like, that's a massive
absolutely
thing.
Like, as you were saying, even like, it does it's very much like mind and body are very much connected, and that, like, people know this, in that, like, you know, you don't take care of your body, it's not gonna, your mind isn't gonna give you that feedback either. But if you do take care of your body, even you saying you're going out for your runs, you're getting your runner's high in, it's like, you feel great after going doing something like that, and it feels good, and it's just good to keep up for yourself. Like, it really is doing something for yourself, like, and more than anything, because like, us feeds obviously into like getting the 6 pack. Yes, it'll impress other people, but fitness overall is going to serve you.
You might be sad with your 6 pack.
Yeah, exactly. You might be sad.
I was sad with my 6 pack.
Yeah,
exactly.
That, like, protein intake and not like monitoring food to the excess, and it's not good, like, overall. So like, that's why, like, do manage your mental health, and it really fitness.
Like, you see people that like every weekend go out drinking and all this stuff, and they're not in the best place mentally, but if you get them into sport or doing something like that, I guarantee it will change things, massive things. Like, people will be going out every weekend drinking and then complaining and saying, oh, I'm very depressed and all this stuff. Like, not bad that you're complaining, good that you're talking about and stuff like that, but if you change your lifestyle and the way you're living around, I guarantee you'll see changes in that. Ask anyone that's got started getting into the gym and stuff. It's a big, massive boost to their confidence. I don't know, it solves so many of the mental health problems that are around. I think it's massive.
That probably feeds into our why. Like, we've seen, like, the amount of change it made in our lives. Like, as you say, your weight loss journey, and then you building up yourself to even being a coach, like, It's such a dramatic difference, and that's the power of fitness. Like really, it is because you started out and say you weren't the most active, and then you like complete turnaround into what you're doing now.
Yeah, because if you came to me in secondary school in 5th or 6th year, I probably wouldn't have spoken to you. I probably would have been shaking trying to speak to you. Like that's how much I would have suffered with anxiety around that sort of stuff. But now getting into fitness has kind of helped me improve that. Like if I'm in the gym and someone comes in talking to me, that's like my safe spot. I can talk to anyone when I'm in there. Like it's mad. And like I'm normally a quiet person, probably do suffer a little bit of anxiety and stuff like that. But when I'm in the gym, I don't. And like I can see that in other people that come in, they're afraid to come in and stuff. And I find it brilliant that I'm able to help them through stuff that I go through myself. So that kind of
I know exactly what you mean. Like I'm much the same. Like I'm quite introverted, and I'd be like I've a bit of social anxiety. That's why I'm putting my like self out with like doing different things like videos and podcasts, and you're the same. But like you have that visceral sense, like when you see someone coming in who's maybe not the most comfortable or confident in themselves, you were there at one point.
Yeah, exactly, and that's brilliant.
You know exactly what that person's feeling like in that F this, I probably don't want to be here. Look at all these people doing way better than me. They're like 10 steps ahead of me. Yeah. And all the things that can be rolling around in your head, that's just not good for you. And once you actually start into it, you'd be like starting anything new. You're not confident, not the most confident starting into it. It's
like that empathy thing, like having empathy for that person and showing them the way that way. Like, because there's loads of coaches that have never been through that sort of stuff.
That's it. Like, and when you've had that struggle and that's so visceral and so like, it's been something that's been a big problem in your life at one stage. You have the skill set that you had to build yourself up to that, so you know what it takes and you know it gets better and you know
exactly.
And you have that more belief in that person then, because it feels good. You're like, they might not have the confidence in themselves, but I may nearly be smiling at people that don't have the confidence in themselves, because I'm like, watch yourself in 4 weeks, watch yourself in 8 weeks. Weights are like, you're going to be training, weights are going to go up.
Exactly.
There's going to be improvements here. You're going to see, and like once they see those improvements in themselves,
that's when it gets addictive.
And then it's like a fire, and it just can go anywhere from there. Like it's like, as I said, like your story is a particularly good example in that, like how they can just have a complete turnaround from like life.
Because I remember when I started, my brother came into my room. I remember this perfectly. Like he walked into my room and he was like, because I was very overweight at the time. I used to love ice cream. I used to just eat tubs and tubs of ice cream. That's all I used to do, was just eat tubs and tubs of ice cream, sit in my room and play Xbox or whatever, like, and do not. And one day my brother came into my room and was like, look, we need to start in the gym, start doing something. You can come down every week with me and we'll get going on a gym program. And I was like, I don't really want to do it. But I went once with him, and then he brought me back again, and he kept bringing me back. And then that's when I had the picture with the 5 kilo plate. That's why I do that with everyone that comes in. It's like, I remember that moment where I lost the 5 kilo, where I lost 5 kilos, and I got to physically hold it in my hands. And then like that kind of gave me a sense of, I want to get to that 10 kilo plate. I want to get there. And like, then through that whole process, that's what kind of kicked me into it, getting so addicted into it, the whole thing. But I remember at the very start, I had a notebook, and I used to draw, like you see on the prison walls, where it's like a line, and then the line through 5 days, of how many days I was going to gym. And I was like, the first one was like, okay, I'm just going to get this to 30. If I get this to 30, then if I fail and nothing happens, that's perfectly fine. And then when I got to 30, I was like, I kind of see a little bit of improvement. I'm going to go try get to 60, and I was tally marked again. And I think I reached I think it was like 37 or something, and then I never tally marked again because I actually started to enjoy it.
It was a habit. It was like ingrained in exactly what you do.
It wasn't like a prison anymore. I wasn't like counting down the days till this 60 days is over. It was like, I think it was day 35 or something. I still have the notebook at home. It was like I scratched off day 35, and then I just never did it again, because it wasn't like. Yeah,
it's just part of you're in what you're doing, and then you don't even have to think about it anymore. But I
didn't hate it anymore.
That's it. You didn't hate it, and you just, as soon as you started seeing the results, that's when it started becoming an addiction. It's good. Like you're like, oh my god, I can actually do this, and I can improve in it. And where's the ceiling from here? There is none.
Rather than saying I can't do this. I'm not good enough for that, or I can't do it. I eventually did something myself, a challenge I actually ticked off. I did it myself, and I was good enough to do it. That was a big thing. I was good enough to do that.
That's unreal. In that, that's how anyone listening. That's how your process can start out. Like once you start like start believing in yourself. Like even as Oisin was saying, like writing on the walls or writing the.
It sounds crazy now.
No, it sounds like any way you get to do it yourself. Anyway, like your own process is special to yourself, and it always will be. And that's how the journey can start. And look, it can go anywhere from there. But that's what I actually wanted to touch on as well, is like the fitness industry in general. There's still a lot of anxiety, and there's still a lot of like, even now more so maybe with social media, and that like people are seeing, you know, people with perfect bodies all the time, and it's kind of a bad side to it. Like, you know, if people are like, that can be so discouraging when you're only starting out. And even now, like, I know I see some people sometimes, and it'll resonate with me negatively. Like, sometimes I'll, like, you know, see someone with a perfect six-pack and the sun is out and they're just living their best life. And, like, the social media is obviously the highlight reel of people's lives. But it's hard to apply that perspective sometimes, and you can kind of get caught up in it. Like,
it's tough. It's like, because every single Instagram profile, every athlete you see is like, perfect body. And then you're seeing that, you're like, oh, I wish I could look like that, or why don't I? It's like, I'm not putting in enough hard. Stop it, you're not putting enough hard work. That is not got to do with it. That's the difference between educators and influencers, as you were saying. It's mad. But there is some, like, there's two brilliant people that I follow on Instagram. Brett Contreras, one, I think his name is on Instagram. You can look at Brett Contreras, and Jordan Syatt. The two of them I've been starting to follow recently enough, and they're absolutely brilliant. Jordan Syatt is probably one of the best people that I've ever heard on Instagram. The stuff that he comes out with is unbelievable.
No, he's ridiculous. Like, he used to, I think I found him through, he used to be, do you know Gary Vee?
His coach.
He his coach for a year, and I kind of see in Gary Vee's videos, like, this guy just spitting out knowledge upon knowledge upon knowledge, and that resonated more with me. So I kind of, like, was following Gary Vee for Gary Vee, and then I kind of, I was obviously going over to Jordan Syatt, and I was like, wow, he's coming out with a lot of good information, but he doesn't bullshit. Like, he's keeping it quiet, you know, and he doesn't overcomplicate it. No, I do want to, that's why I want to bring the next topic into actually perfectly. So you're talking about Jordan Syatt, and that influencers versus educators is a big thing on social media, because a lot of people are getting their information from social media. We spend hours on it every day, like, so for naturally most people do, like, unless I'm guilty of it myself. Like, I need to just put the phone down sometimes, and then when I'm putting in my work, I also find a natural happiness in myself when I'm not looking at social media. But that's because there's so much toxic stuff on it, like, you don't want to be seeing, like, and that plays into it. Like, follow, if anything, I found a very good thing is detoxifying your social media, in that, like, anyone that you see that on social media that makes you feel negative about yourself, like, you see, like, Joe Sixpack with, you know, his perfect body and girls all around him and the sun out, and, like, he's just by the beach and everything's perfect in that picture, and, like, that's a snapshot of someone's moment in time in life. But the great reality is, like, it's not like, that's why it comes into educators, like, it's less glamorous, but it's more realistic, it's more attainable, it's more like, it's more what people should be looking for, like, as you're saying, Jordan Syatt, and that's what we kind of strive for as well in our coaching. Well, like, we kind of keep it realistic. We're like, you know, not everything's glamorous.
But people coming into fitness industry that have no previous experience or, like, knowledge behind anything, they're going to click on your man with the six-pack.
Oh, they are.
Like, if you see two pictures of Jordan Syatt and this fella absolutely shredded, like, we're gonna be like, oh, I want to look like him. Let's
he looks better. Oh,
exactly,
by his program or something.
And that's like how do you change? You can't change that. Like, that's really hard one to change. I wish I could tell them people to off, but I can't. I wish that there was actually some knowledge behind the stuff that they're spewing out, but, like, most of them, there's none. Like, there's very, very few. There's a few people that are open about the stuff that they take, and, like, being more educating around that side of things, but then 90% of them are just trying to make a quick buck, like 4-week training program, and it's absolute balls. It doesn't make sense.
I hate it like that, but that's sadly, like, that's, as I said, like, that's sadly the way it is, and it might not change exactly, but as I said, like, it changes one person at a time. So, like, even just putting out a podcast like this and discussing something like that, it could be something what someone needs to hear too, like,
which every athlete will be here listening to the podcast.
I get them. I'll be getting them.
You can blur out the name of that company. Don't get me in trouble.
I'll do the editing on that. But
just leave it as a beep. It'll be funny. People will have to guess who I'm talking about.
But that actually feels like another thing I wanted to ask you is, like, the joys of coaching. So, like, you've obviously you've had the entire process from losing the weight yourself, and, you know, being that entire journey itself is, you know, you could write a book on that, and then, like, actually going into coaching itself, like, why do you find it resonates so strong with you?
That's a hard question.
Well, it's your own story as well. I'm sure it has plays into it, but you've got your own why behind it.
Yeah, just I don't know. When I see someone that's going through the same process that I went through, and I'm able to tell, like, I wish I could go back and tell myself, like, everything's gonna be all right. If you just keep doing this, you'll be fine. You'll fly it. Because it's so hard to know. Oh, am I doing that wrong? Am I doing this wrong? Like, every time you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, like, I don't do this. No, just keep being consistent. Doesn't make a huge difference what you're doing. If you just stay consistent, you'll make massive changes. Even if your training program is the worst training program in the world, and you just stay consistent doing it, you're still going to make progress. I wish I could go back and tell myself that. Take away the anxiety out of gym. And when I start to do that with people, that's when I actually love that side of the job. 100%. Is when I see someone, it's like, someone coming to the gym to me the first time and they're really, really, really nervous, and I'm like, okay, right, we'll work on this, and a couple of weeks down the line they're fine, and I'm like, now look, see, this change is bigger than the change in your body. Like, exactly. The fact you're able to come in here now and you walk over to that squat rack and you pick up the squat bar and you're like, don't even ask me a question about it, you just do it yourself.
That's
I'm
what
like,
I
oh my
find
god.
as well. Yeah, no, you're starting out with the coaching, and you know it's relatively quickly. People pick up things very quickly, like, and especially when they want to, like, and they're focused and driven into what they're doing. Like, you know, you nearly sound like sometimes, like, even in the gym, you're nearly just a rep counter, because
exactly.
they're doing everything right, like, and it's class to get someone to that, like, because the stabilizers are off the wheels then at that stage. They are doing it themselves.
And do themselves, yeah.
It's that's a lot of like, the most satisfying part of coaching is, like, when someone is becoming more independent, and you're like, you know, like even like anything, like, you know, I would say, like a good driving instructor, like, it'll help you, you know, they're going to help you get to your driving, and once
you don't need them sitting in the car beside you all the time, like that.
It's so satisfying to get to that stage. So like that, like any process like that, it is so satisfying to get to the stage where the person is more independent and confident in themselves to go ahead and do what the work, like. But
because I always wanted to take someone through that process of, like, what my brother did to me. It was like, okay, step one, get him going to the gym, take away his anxiety, be there for him and make sure he's okay. Second step, show him the progress he's making physically, like that play, holding in his hand, and then once he sees that, he'll be fine. And that's what I'm trying to do with everyone that comes in, and I'll give them the best shot that I possibly can to get. There'll be some people that just isn't their time. Like, there's always some people that just aren't ready for it, and it's not, they're not a bad person just because they're not sticking to your program. It's like, okay, just not your time. Your time will come again.
Exactly,
there'll be some point in your life where you're like, okay, I'm gonna start. Everyone has that point, and if you don't, that's perfectly fine as well. Doesn't mean you have to be mad into fitness. Like, I'm not for all that stuff. Like, David Goggins is a bit mad.
Oh my god, he's insane. He's nuts. The exception,
exactly.
Not the rule.
Like,
exactly. Like, do you not do what David Goggins is doing unless you want to blow out, like, every joint in your body? Like,
just, you don't have to be crazy about it. And if you fail at it, that's fine. If you don't want to do it, that's perfectly fine as well. But it's just try it. Yeah. And if you give it a try, then you've succeeded, you know, kind of way. And then even if they don't, okay, there's another coach out there for you, there's something there for you. You're not a failure just because you didn't do it. So Don't be so hard on yourself.
Exactly. It's not, you know, because it's like, it's not to be all and end all if you don't exactly get what you want, but as long as you as you're saying, you know, you try it, it's a big win, like, because, you know, it's something that you never tried before, and you've taken that step to pursue self-improvement in a way. It's like, it's actually, it's very brave in a way, like,
like when someone reaches out to the page, that's like, when someone reaches out to you for coaching, that's massive. I'm like, that's a bigger step than walking into a gym, is texting some random person and asking them, like, what sort of coaching do you do, or can you help me out with this, I'm unhappy with my body. That's massive to say to someone.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's huge. Yeah.
Because I would have thought myself, like, when I wasn't coaching, like, it's just even reaching out, because you'd see these people on Instagram and, you know, they're doing their coaching and that, and then you're like, you know, it looks cool, I'd like to do that, but it's actually taking the first step in, like, being like, I'd like to start, you know, and that goes out to anyone, like, anyone who wants to start, like, I'm not just plugging myself for Oisin, like, you don't necessarily have to come for us, but, like, any coach that you admire, like that, just give them a message, because most people that you talk to that are coaches, like, so, like, that you can kind of read their vibe from social media, and that, like, they love what they're doing, they love helping people, they love, like, anyone that messaged me, I'm like ecstatic, I'm like, yes, let's go, let's see what you want to do and how we can get there and all that, and that's such a rewarding part of coaching, in getting, like, in seeing what people's goals are, and you're investing your time and energy into a person's life, like, and you really got, like, you know, you're accounting for, yes, the coaching side of it, but it is much more than that. It is like you're building a sort of bonding relationship that you're trying to build them up to. You're going to be that person that's going to get them to the next level. Like, so it's really rewarding in that way. So, like, anyone who's, like, thinking of, like, you know, should I start, should I not, a coach is going to help you in a lot in doing that, in streamlining the process and making it easier for you and making it more understandable for you. So a coach is a great way to even just like, even if you just have a question someday, like I love
the Instagram question things are brilliant, like, for helping like little bits of knowledge for people. And that's why like I put them out every week. Sometimes I get no questions and I'm sitting at home like, okay, alright, I'll just go home and sleep. I need to help anyone. But if anyone has any questions ever, doesn't mean I'm going to ask you for €50 or hand me €50 and answer the question. I'll answer the question for nothing. If
no,
you have a question,
I'm happy to answer. Like anyone who even wants to have a full convo and just like, oh, how should I do this? Like you don't necessarily have to sign up to an entire coaching program. Yeah. Like I love talking about the coaching process and like anything in it, like or anything that you're doing in your own exercise or your own fitness journey. We've likely been there at one point too. So like it really is. It's a pleasure to help anyone like in that way. Like so anyone like whoever has any questions, like message away at any coach that you see or anyone that you admire, even in fitness related, and they'll likely help you. They'll likely be more than happy to help you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's what we do. It's our craft. It's what we do. Like we obviously, it's our why. It's our passion. So
yeah. So don't big message to people is like, don't get so down if you're failing yourself. You know, kind of if you think you're not making progress, it's when you get down that's when you're gonna stop doing it and fail. Just keep going. You know, kind of keep doing something. Yeah. Even if you don't have a coach, try it yourself. There's loads and loads of videos on YouTube. There's loads and loads of different, like, you'll get through the knowledge yourself. One person on YouTube that would be good would be Jeff Nippert. He's good enough. Yeah, he has a lot of stuff.
Scientific breakdowns.
Yeah,
he is absolutely.
But for people that starting in gym, like watching a whole scientific breakdown might be hard for them.
Might be hard to pick up, because you kind of have to like have a breadth of knowledge into that field. But that said, you know, you're like there's tons of resources out there for people. Like fitness is more accessible. Like any tool you use, the internet is a great tool. Like if you use it the wrong way, in that like, you know, you're buying into people that are selling like people with six packs that are like, oh, we're really going in on people with six packs today. I'm sorry.
I'm just jealous I don't have one.
If you have a six pack out there and you're listening to this, you're probably feeling very hated right now. No, that's not it at all. It's just
a picture of someone who
it's just the ideal
of like
image of someone
steroid user.
Anyone who has a six pack,
we refer to them as steroid users.
We love you too. It's just it's just your good example to kind of use for what we're talking
like
about.
Six pack does not equal knowledge at all. Just because he has six pack doesn't mean he can tell you or could like say how he got there, because there's genetics plays a massive role in it. People don't realize that as well. Like genetics is huge. Like there's some genetic freaks around the place.
No, that's
and like they don't train properly, they don't do anything, but yet they're still
their body complements that
exactly
type of thing so much. And that's another important thing to remember. Like you might not like have the what am I trying to say here? Like if you train with what you have, like, because you'd be surprised how far you can go in your own process. Like if you don't think, I don't have the legs like this girl, or this like I don't have the arms like this fella, or you know, something like that, the chest to him or something like that. Do your own process, because there's only one you, and it's very unique to your own journey. Like it's you against you, and that's why I say a lot is a lot of mentors that I'd be like, I just read off of and all that. A big thing they push is comparison is the thief of joy, in that like don't compare yourself to others. Like everybody has their own individual process, and it takes time to figure out like where like aligning your values and goals and your happiness into it as well. Like, you know, you have to allow yourself to be happy in your process and going into it. Try not to waffle too much, like, but I'm trying to just say like that you do have your own process, and it can take a while to find exactly where you'll be happy at, but fitness is a brilliant outlet for allowing that and seeing your potential. And it's really like, you know, another thing people say is like your body is a physical manifestation of your mental, in that like, you know, it really is like
I would agree on a lot of that. Like definitely body is a physical manifestation of your mental health, 100%. I don't care what anyone says, that's definitely has something got to do with it. Unless you're a genetic freak and your body always looks good, but like most people.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with it. Like, but like, just say if you're just like, you know, you're not the genetic freak, you're just a regular person. Like, we'll just give what I want to touch on is just a few general like nutrition and training advice, just for people that are just maybe starting out. They're just want to get the basics right. Like they might not even need a coach, they might not want one, it might not be for them, depending on who they are and what they're doing. But like just so we'll probably tackle nutrition first, because that's usually the most difficult topic for people to get on. So just general
first getting your calories down is probably the main thing. Like, that doesn't mean you have to track calories for the rest of your life. It means like getting your calorie maintenance. So like what calories you can maintain your weight at. And there's millions of calculators online. People who don't want to do maths a lot of the time, because you see people putting out these massive formulas. Like, okay, yeah, that's the correct way to do it, but there's calculators online. Just look up calorie calculator, and what you do is get your maintenance, and then if you want to gain weight or put on muscle, you can put on muscle on a calorie deficit as well. That's an unpopular truth, I would say. Most people would say you can't put on muscle if you're in a calorie deficit.
Especially if
you probably can. Yeah. If you're in a maintenance, I would say that's probably a good way to start to put on muscle, is start off in a maintenance, and then you can slowly increase your calories. So what you want to do to go put on muscle, or kind of bulk as people call it, would be like add on 250 to 300. So not a massive calorie surplus. If you're adding on like 600-700 calories, it would be very hard. Slowly bring it up each time. If your weight's not going up, then just keep adding on calories slowly, so you're not putting a lot of fat.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean
no, you're right.
Just putting into perspective to people. So say your maintenance calories your body uses every day just to maintain itself. Say you put in your details to your calorie calculator. It's like, say, well, just for example, 2,500 calories every day. That means your body uses that. So that's your maintenance. So about if you're in the bulk, that's what Oisin was saying. Sorry, I'll let you go back to it now.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So just keeping in that.
Yeah, because it's actually. It's so hard to talk about and keep it simple, but it is so simple. You know, you don't need to overcomplicate it.
It's as simple as riding a bike.
Yeah, exactly. Really, you literally type in your height, your weight, your date of birth into a calculator, and it'll calculate it for you, and it'll give you the numbers. But just what you do is add on 250 calories to it if you want to put on weight, and minus 250 calories off it if you want to lose weight. You can up them numbers then slowly as we go on if our weight isn't going up or down. That's how simple that gets. Then on top of that, drink enough water, 2 litres a day if you possibly can. That changes for people. People might want to drink more depending on if you're doing sport and stuff. And then that's really as simple as it gets, got to do with nutrition. And then protein next. I would say it's like a pyramid, so you want to focus on the bottom of it first. It's calories. Focus on calories first.
That's energy. That's everything essentially. So.
Exactly. And you need that basis. Then after that you can focus on water, protein, whatever. So it probably goes water, then protein. Although you could switch that around and say protein and water. I don't know. I'd say water is very, very important.
So that's it. It really is as simple as getting your calories, and as Oisin was saying, going 250 either side of your.
People go more. It's not bad if you go more.
Don't go too extreme. Yeah. Don't go more. I would say
500 cap, I would say.
500 cap, because if you're going 700 or 1,000, that's not only going to be hard on your body, it's going to make you miserable, but it's all it's not healthy. It's not and it's not sustainable. You're likely, you might, say put in your 6 weeks of doing that and get your results, but you're not going to keep that up for the long term. Nobody's going to keep up a 700 calorie surplus or more, even for or deficit even as well, for more than a couple of weeks at a time, and that's really only if you're prepping for a competition or something that you're going to be doing something like that. For regular people that just want to get a bit fit, depending on if you want to put on a bit of muscle and slides, you obviously put on your calorie surplus, so eating more energy than you're actually using, and then your calorie deficit. So if you want to lose a bit of weight, lose a bit of fat, then you're going into your calorie deficit of about 250, and maybe 500 calories.
That's as simple as it gets. If I could explain that to people, don't worry about keto, don't worry about paleo, don't worry about any of this crap. Have your foods that you like. So I tend to include a chocolate bar every day. I know that's processed sugar, absolutely right. Yeah, but
everybody,
that's how it helps me keep sustainable. If I eat whole foods every day, I'm going to be crying my eyes out. But it's good to include whole foods and vegetables and everything, because you need to get your vitamins in and stuff. The main factor in losing weight or putting on weight is calories. So if you match up your calories to what you need, to what you're eating, then you'll be perfect. Yeah. You don't have to worry about, if I eat fat, I'm gonna put on a load of fat. No, you won't. Yeah, if I eat carbs, I'm gonna get fat. No, shut up. Just eat your calories.
You can get on top of your macronutrients after that and all that. That'll probably be the next thing. But there are two things that are probably the most important. Then everything after is kind of you're really refining the edges, but you're not. It's not that's calories and macros. Those are probably 90% of the work, and then everything else meal timing and whatever else after that. Not really necessary.
There's science behind a lot of it, but it's not major differences. I could go into it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Behind a load of science, but I rather keep that as simple as I possibly can.
Yeah, if I could say so. Overcomplicate it. And as I say, drinking water, that's obviously just good for you. It's good for you, keeping. It's just a load of different things.
Yeah, there's a million different benefits.
I don't think.
And protein's just for recovery and building muscle stuff as well. Carbohydrates supplies you with the energy, and then fats are vitamin absorption. People think fats are very bad. You need fats in your diet, because
healthy fats,
if you want to absorb vitamins, you need fats. There's
balance your hormones,
exactly, everything else. Hormones is a huge thing, and people try cut that out, or Like, I don't know, it's just a bit mad how the fitness industry can
It can be
turn
different,
things
but
bad.
there's
Like, there's nothing bad. There's processed foods, yes, that like probably not the best yet, but I love them.
No, but that's
Exactly.
like, I don't think any diet that restricts you from any food is like, you know, like obviously
It's
there's
good.
certain restriction on things, but you don't have to cut out anything in particular, like full stop, that don't touch that. Like, because I find a lot of, especially these days, fad diets are getting, like, you've probably seen like that Game Changers documentary where he's like vegan,
Yeah.
only vegetables is the only way to go. And yeah, well, it was well and good to eat vegetables, like, you don't like, and like keep to only that. You know, it's not realistic all the time as well.
No.
Like, and it's like, you know, people like to enjoy their meat, their foods, different foods, like your processed foods as well. Like, I think as long as it's keeping you happy and balanced over the long term, and you are still achieving the results you want in terms of your fitness and your body composition and all that, keep at it. Like, because like people can get caught up in keto, like carbohydrates are the devil, and then, you know, like fats are the devil for another diet, and then, you know, like your meat is the devil for like vegan, or like, well, not vegan, but
the
like
basis behind the lose weight on them diets is all is just a calorie deficit.
They have less to eat. Like, it's like you can put anything you want over whatever name, but at the end of the day, that's what it's coming down to.
Exactly.
Calories.
So like, it's keep it as simple as you possibly can. Then same with training, keep it as simple as you possibly can. If you want to build muscle, 10 to 12 reps, 10 to 15 reps. If you want to gain strength, 3 to 5 reps. Change the rest time. So for strength, you'd want to be resting kind of like 3 to 5 minutes between sets, and like going probably like 80% to 90% of your max, kind of that way. You can change that up and down as well, so depending on like, just keep it as simple as you can. So literally, if you want to gain muscle, 10 to 12 reps. If you want to gain strength, 3 to 5 reps.
Yeah, no.
Change rest times.
If there's, I know we're kind of just spitballing and saying what we're saying right now. So if anyone has any questions, just message me or Oisin. Like, if you wanted to go greater breakdown on that, any of the things we're saying, because I know we're covering we're touching the surface on a lot of things anyway, but we're not going too deep.
We're keeping it simple.
We're trying to keep it simple as possible, just for people that are just don't know where they, like, if they're only starting out and they don't know any better, like, these are probably the principles that if you apply these are going to get 90% of the results that you want for you. But
training simple as well. Like, there's no need to overcomplicate it, which are like super exercises or like super body fat burning. Stop, will ya? Just do the exercises. 10 to 12 reps. You want to build muscle. 3 to 5 for strength. Try train every muscle group twice a week. And take rest. Rest is important as well. Rest is very important. You need your body to be able to recover muscle to build. So you need to take that rest day between. If you're training chest 7 days a week, chances are your muscles aren't going to grow very well.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting too strained or too stressed, and you're not giving.
And you're going to get injured, like two of us here.
Like, you can get, if you put too much strain on it, you'll end up like us, and you'll have your injuries and all that. But that all comes in time and part and perspective and everything, and just applying that, and you'll get a better understanding of it the longer you keep at it over time. But that's probably why we push our coaching. We see such a use in coaching is because we cut out a lot of that trial and error for a lot of people, in that we give them the tools straight off the bat. And as you were saying there as well, like you were obviously saying in training and all that, keep your 10 to 12 reps and you're training your muscles twice a week. And that's a lot for a lot of people that are like, Oisin said it there before we started the podcast. It's like most training programs you're going to buy off people, whether they're the biggest influencer on the planet or they're like, so long as they're actually like, they know their stuff. Compared to like any coach in general, a lot of plans are going to be very similar in what they're doing. They're going to be exercising the same muscles, and it doesn't need to be overcomplicated.
If you overall want to build muscle and you're looking for a training program that's going to build muscle, if you're looking for a training program that is surrounded by or based around those goals, no matter who gives you that training program, considering they have actually a slight bit of knowledge, will be similar enough. Like, if you wanted like just to build muscle overall in your body, then chances are most people will give you kind of a similar program. Might be a different split. Some people might do 3 days full body. Some people might do upper lower, like changes like that.
You can get different, like, and it's
different styles, but they all have kind of the same outcome at the end. Kind of, there's not huge difference.
Specializations, obviously, depending on your goal. But if you're just a person, like general people, 90% of the population who's looking to get fit, just improve their body composition, program's going to be fairly simple and similar. Like, it's just what
coaching provides is that support. Like, it's literally that support that when you think you're going wrong, you have a person there to say, like, look, you're not going wrong, you're actually doing this fine. Or when you are going wrong, they can be like, look, we can make a little change here or a little change there. That's what a coach provides. Coach does not provide you with groundbreaking knowledge 90% of the time. Well, Unless you believe half the stuff that comes out on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Like they can help you along the way, like, and that's what we're here for. Like we want to see the best for you to get the best out of your program. And as I say, it's not groundbreaking knowledge because a lot of it is simple stuff. Anyone who's saying like, you know, oh, you need to exactly train like this and you have to do exactly this way, they're talking out their arse a lot. Yeah. Like they're not. They just
want you to buy their program.
Yeah, because
their
like,
program is special.
Yeah, no. Like I've found the secret to losing 20 kilos in 2 weeks, and it's like
stop,
or building 20 pounds of muscle in like a week. It's like different things like that, and it's just like your body takes time to adjust to these things. So
just stay consistent, take your time with it. Like it's not a short journey; it's a long process. You know, kind of like it's never going to be short. Like no matter what goal you come to, it's never going to be short. Like especially if you want to keep it sustainable, it's not going to be short. It's long term. Most of it is, and it's just making them long term changes and keeping it simple is how you make it long term. Keep it simple as you possibly can, and after a while of tracking your calories and stuff, like keeping it like that simple, then eventually you can do, okay, I'm not going to track my calories this week and I'm going to try eat similarly to how I did a couple of weeks ago. And then like I won't need to track anymore. I kind of have an idea of what I can eat. And then if it comes and you're starting to put back on weight, just go back, track your calories again.
Exactly. It doesn't, you won't put in 20 pounds overnight if you're eating a certain, like if you have like a takeaway or something one night, don't be too hard on yourself. Like you're not going to put all your weight back on from, like one takeaway never like lost person all their results and one workout never built anyone's effort.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Like it's not like, it's really, it's a long process. And so to put a cap on this, probably we're saying your training, your nutrition, just keep those simple. Obviously the recovery as well. Like if you're getting stiffness or tightness, do stretch out your muscles, do put in a bit of recovery implementation or routine in place, get your good sleep, but that's 9% of the work, so safe, sustainable, and probably the last thing I'll put on is enjoyable. So yeah, make sure your mental health
is a massive thing.
Your mental health is aligning with your physical health and physical goals. Like it's all well and good being in the gym and looking well and all that, but if your mental isn't there and you're not happy, then you know that's another thing. Actually, I'm not plugging coaching, but like coaches do like pick up on that and they try to look out for the best, that you actually are enjoying the process as well, because like it's all well and good following a program and that and getting the results, but if you're not happy mentally, like what is it all for?
Yeah, no, I'd rather someone just, I don't know, like I don't want someone paying me and not getting the best out of their program or something like that. Like
I hate that. I'd rather be providing the value far before like any of them financial gains come into coaching. Like, and that's what we're about. Like we love that. It's so much more rewarding to me. Like you can hand me €1,000, or you could say like, you know, work with this person and they'll be happy and you can play a small part in the process that they got to where they wanted to be. That is so much more rewarding. Yes. Like, that is so good. That's one of the best feelings in the world. Just like
I love that feeling as well. Yeah, mad.
It's just but that's pretty much all I wanted to say with Oisin. It's class talking to you, man. It's like really long time no see, and just getting a bit of a catch up and just chatting, shooting the shit about like coaching and that and fitness industry, and just a few couple topics I wanted to cover today. But hope anyone listening enjoyed it. I'll probably ask a few more follow up questions just to finish things off and just
see how these go.
just quick fire answers, and you can say whatever you want, and just So if you could put anything on a billboard for people to see, a quote, anything, what would it be?
I don't know. That's the hardest question I've ever heard in my life. Something on a billboard that you want. It's like, you are good enough. You can do it. You are good enough. You can do it. Like, just you can.
I like that.
Like sick of people saying I can't do it. You can. Just
you really can. A lot of people are probably going to get like, I know it's coming into the winter and COVID and everything, and so many restrictions in the world right now. But like, fitness is going to be a big pal for you, big friend to you, and helping you keep along that way.
Even mental health wise, like you can do it. Like just stick it through. You're not gonna. There's always the light at the end of the tunnel, as cliche as that is, but there always is. Just stick it through. You can do it. That's what's written on my massive billboard.
That's absolutely. That's perfect, and that's exactly. I wouldn't say it better myself. And just one more thing. So, what's one of the most important things you've learned in your life or process? I know it's a big question. I know, but it's an interesting one. And what was your life like before learning that, and how has it changed now as a result?
So, what was
one of the most important things or lessons you've learned in your life, and what was your life like before learning that, and how has it changed now as a result? It'll just give people perspective. So
I don't know. That's impossible. That's another impossible question.
The best question.
Yeah, no, they are good. They're thought provoking questions, but I don't know. Like, I don't think I've learned. I an awful lot yet. Like, I think there is more to learn.
Much to learn, yeah.
Yeah. So
anything that like someone maybe that went through the same struggles as you or something, and that you're like, well, here, I know you said on the quote, like, you can do it and you are good enough. Like, and it probably touches into that. I'll probably tie into it. You are good enough.
Yeah.
You can, and you
like, just stop being. I'm going to change the question around, right? The question I'm going to is, if I could go back to myself when I started, what advice would I give myself? And that would be like the same as the billboard. You can do it. It's like, you are good enough to do it. Don't stress the small stuff. If you're like, as you said, if you're eating that takeaway, you're not going to go back on all your progress that you did before. Don't be stressing out about stuff. Relax a bit. Relax.
Yeah, relax.
That's one thing that I learned. Yeah, that's one thing that I learned.
Don't stress yourself too much.
Relax.
I do like that perspective. Like, do relax and like do enjoy the process, and like you're
like, life's going to pass by anyway. Even if like just so, what can you do about relax? I don't know. I wish I could go back and say that again, but that's definitely something I've learned to kind of do, especially over the last couple of years, 2-3 years. Just relax more. Like, life's flying past. There's no point stressing about stupid things like, oh, last week you had that takeaway on a Friday. In a year's time, you won't remember you had that takeaway on a Friday. Like, calm down about it. Relax.
No,
that's a massive learning. That's what a lot of people need to learn. Just deep breaths, and that's it. You'll be fine.
And I can honestly see probably ourselves looking back and needing those words again. Like, because it happened so many times throughout life. Like, obviously we had our journeys and our fitness first of all, and now we're going into coaching, and there's lots to learn in coaching, that like you're going through the same building blocks again and trying to build up that same confidence in, like, you're only starting out and you're trying to put your best foot forward out into that, like, and it's just building a process again. So you are good enough, you can do it, and just relax. Like,
it sounds so simple.
It sounds so simple. If we're going to sound like two Egypts, just like,
and everyone's gonna be like, so telling me to relax. I was like, I didn't mean it like that. Okay, just, you're allowed to stress as well. You're allowed to be. You're allowed to be stressed. You're allowed to be. Like, everyone gets that way. Just try your best
to find your own way and carve your own path, and you will get there eventually. Like, it's just it's a loving process.
I'm gonna change my Instagram bio, remove everything from it, and just put relax in it.
Yeah, dude, man, I nearly do that as well. Like, it's a good one to live by. Like, do, but I think we've covered everything.
What would you put on a billboard, Damon?
Jeez, I'd probably do something along similar lines like that. Like, I see the process. I love, like, after building up the coaching thing, I've seen a lot of the things, like, not so much the same process as building up your fitness or something like that, or anything you do in life that you just, you don't think you can do it. Like, you can do it, because that's like, I would, like me, Oisin, I don't know if you remember us, if you're in our secondary school, I was the scrawniest probably, and then like Oisin, you said you had your way on. Like, we're two extremes of like just not taking care of ourselves, and then
we were never like the popular crew in school either. We were just
kind of ourselves, like, and we kind of, building yourself up and building that confidence up, and just kind of like getting there. We probably wouldn't have seen ourselves here like probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and
I'm Nora. Yeah, I'm still living in the box room in my mum's house.
Same.
We'll get out there soon.
It's a loving process.
But relax, there you go.
Yeah, relax. It'll all come in time, and it's a class. It's a class just to be there now. So to put anything, probably on the billboard as well. I'll touch back on saying comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare your process to anyone else's. You have your own special thing going on.
Yeah.
And just like, just enjoy that every minute of it. Like, the days that you even struggle, you look back on them and you're probably like, I'm so glad I did struggle, because that gave me, like, it gave me a grit and a kind of thing that I know I can push past certain barriers. So, like, don't, comparison is thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to others.
It's funny speaking about that, like, because that actually just brought you're going to be like, oh, I've talked now for longer.
No.
But I'm the Mulligainz page on Facebook, so, like, it probably would have been better for me to change that name to Oisin Mulligan Coaching. But the reason I left it as Mulligainz Fitness was years ago, me and my brother, when we were starting going to the gym, we recreated that page. And we started putting out content and stuff, but because I wasn't fully qualified at the time, I think I was in first year of college, sports science, and then Owen had done one nutrition course, but like, people said that's not qualified, whatever. We weren't coaching anyone, we were just putting out knowledge to people, trying to help them out, educate them, whatever. And then we start getting negative comments underneath, just from certain few people. I actually probably still remember names, I won't mention names today, but I have little screenshots. I have screenshots of the comments still. And the reason I opened back up that page, because I was like, right, now these people are going to see, it's like, I can do it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna show, look, I can. So, like, no matter what you say, it's like, okay, I don't really care. I can do it. That's why I opened back up that page. We deleted the whole thing because of that whole stuff before. We got rid of the whole page. We were like, unpublished. And then when I started this back up, I was like, I'm just going to go publish that same page again, and I'm going to do it this time. I'm not going to let someone else's opinions get the better of it. But just you speaking about that comparison is Tiva Joy, like that's kind of, it's not, it kind of is a similar situation, John. Kind of
it is. Don't let yourself get stressed by anyone or what anyone else is thinking.
Yeah.
And anything you do in life. Like I know this podcast is getting so deep, but I think it's beneficial if it helps someone out there. Like if you're struggling and you don't believe in yourself to do something, and you know other people are saying you shouldn't do it, you know, if you listen to them, they'll win. And
exactly,
you know,
you're going. If I didn't do it, I'll still be in my mom's box room in 20 years time.
Well, that's the way I see it. Like
exactly.
You know, I'm loving anything that I'm trying right now in the coaching and everything. Like you know, it's really anything else is a bonus. I'm blessed in being grateful for everything that's happened so far, and anything that else has happened is absolutely just.
But like I can guarantee you, when I put the videos out on Mulligainz page the first time, there was a few people laughing at me, but I was like, I'm past that now. It's like, just relax. Again, no matter what people are always going to have an opinion of you. Like, who cares? You're just going to have to do it yourself. It's your choice. You're allowing their feelings. You're considering their feelings and turning them into your own, that kind of way. So like what they're saying about you, then you're taking it on yourself. When you don't have to, you can just be like, okay, you're saying that, Jimmy, that's fine. It's like, I'm going to do it. I'm sorry for slating my mom's box room. It's not that bad. No, she cooks me dinner sometimes, so I still love her.
Oh, I do. It's just like, no, I do get you. It's how can I talk? I really don't want to say anything else. Just to say that. Just
keep going.
No, that's all I kind of wanted to say. That's the perfect cap on it. Like, just relax. Comparisons to Joy. Just don't compare yourselves to others, and just
keep it simple.
Worry about yourself. Worry to do what for yourself. Keep it simple, and it's just probably a bit of a mishmash in everything that we said today. Like we kind of touched on topics, didn't touch on them, then brought them back in and all that. But I hope some people got value in listening to this. That was the main goal, and that's the main goal when we do anything. Like if it helps one person, that's more than enough. That's made my week, my year. Yeah. And that really is. So like anyone out there that's just struggling doing your own thing, just keep at it. If you believe in it, don't let what anyone else says, and just keep at it and pushing away at it, and you'll
because then you give up and then they win. Like we unpublished that page, then your man that said we weren't good enough, then we weren't because we never continued on.
Exactly, so then you're back proving wrong and you're helping people and and you're back.
That's why every time I'm just like,
and if you let them win, you'd never have done that. So
in a few years' time when I'm rich and famous, I don't want to be rich and famous anyway. I'm happy enough. I'll post the screenshots of their comments and I'll tag them all in. I'll tell all my followers, get these little I don't even know what I'd call them. I know I hold no anger towards them, but I just using that as motivation.
Everybody has their own stuff going on. They could have just said it out.
Yeah, I use it as motivation. Now that I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Exactly. So I think at that, I kind of have everything I wanted to say. Is there anything you want to put in or anything?
No, I wish I brought my book because I actually had a question for you. I had it written out, but I can't remember. We'll get it the next time. We'll come on another podcast.
Oisin will be back. Anyways, welcome anytime on the podcast. And just like if you liked listening to him, make sure to give Mulligainz Fitness, is it on?
Yeah, Facebook and Instagram, both of them are Mulligainz Fitness.
Mulligainz Fitness, and that's what it said at the end of Mulligainz. So Mulligainz.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah.
I think if you type in Oisin Mulligan anyway, it'll come up. You'll find me somehow.
But
find me somewhere.
He's a whopper person to talk to, and he's just like the strongest mindset. As probably heard across this, he has his own struggles, he has ups and downs, and now he's where he is, and he can definitely help you in coaching if you're looking to get into that. And just so
thanks a million, Damon.
No, 100%, man. You're class. You're just it's anyone listening to you know that as well, and it's just pleasure having you on, and thanks for coming out. And
it's been my pleasure talking scrap for an hour.
Just kind of shooting the shit. But look, anyone that get value out of it, just give Oisin a follow and enjoy the podcast, and I'll keep them coming. So I'll catch you next week for another podcast, and bye.
See you later.
Good luck.